Please sit down. Principal, headmaster, pupils, parents, staff, governors, old Sedberghians, friends of Sedbergh School, good morning and a very warm welcome to the 2021 Sedbergh School Speech Day and Prize Giving. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Richard Gledhill. I'm an old Sedberghian, and I've been a governor of the school since 2012 and chairman of the board since this time last year. And my goodness, what a year this has been. Certainly not the launch pad that I'd hoped for. I can now see my notes, that's great, thank you. Not the launch pad I'd hoped for when I accepted the role as chairman. But in so many respects, the COVID crisis has shown the strength and resilience of our school, of our pupils and their families, and of course, of our teachers and the other staff. So I want to pay tribute to all of you, to our pupils who've absolutely demonstrated the spirit of Sedbergh, whether here or through virtual learning when the school was closed. To the parents and families of pupils for their support and understanding. And to the leadership of the school and the teaching staff and all the other staff who've worked tirelessly to keep the show on the road, both here and online. A huge thank you to all of you. The COVID pandemic has rewritten the rules in so much of our daily lives. But after such a protracted and perilous crisis, we all long for the time when we'll get back to business as usual. I want to reflect on three aspects of the school's response to the crisis and some important lessons for the new normal. First of all, remote learning and the use of technology. Of course, no remote learning could compete with the real Sedbergh experience. And I'm so sorry that this cohort of young people haven't been able to benefit from all aspects of Sedbergh life in the last 15 months. But when we've been forced into remote learning, the school's tried to sustain the breadth of education that Sedberghians have always enjoyed, with sport and music, chapel, services and assembly, daily challenges and even wake-up calls, as well as online lessons. Andrew Fleck and the leadership team were fortunate that our school in China had to go virtual several weeks before the schools here. Andrew helped them prepare for this and was able to benefit from early learnings there. And from the many letters and emails that I've seen from parents, the staff and the leadership team can be proud of everything they've done to sustain the Sedbergh experience for our pupils. I know that I am. And I'm also sure that the commitment and resilience that our pupils demonstrated during this difficult time will stand them in good stead as they move through the school and on to the next important stages of their lives. Secondly, I want to talk about the financial impact of COVID and the lockdowns on the school and on our parents. Very early on, we recognised that many of our parents would face financial hardship as a result of COVID, and we announced significant fee reductions for the periods of remote learning. As far as I know, these were more generous than most independent schools. And we also established a hardship fund to provide additional fee support for parents facing particular financial challenges. And many parents and OSs gave very generously to this fund. I think these were the right things to do for our loyal parents and for the school. Because of these fee reductions and cancelled summer courses and the other consequences of COVID, we've lost over £5 million of revenue in the last 2 financial years. These losses were substantially reduced by financial support from the government, particularly the furlough scheme, and by many other cost savings, including salary sacrifices by staff. But we've still had to eat into our rainy day reserves. You'll be able to read in detail about this in our annual report in due course. But meanwhile, I want to reassure you that the finances of the school remain robust. We're going to the new year with a full senior school and growing pupil numbers at Casterton, so we'll be able to continue to invest in the facilities of the school at the same time as rebuilding our rainy day reserves. So I want to pay tribute to the leadership team, and in particular to Peter Marshall and the bursary staff, for all they've done to support parents and to manage the finances of the school through this very difficult period. Finally, I want to talk about communication. The COVID crisis has underlined the need for regular communication between the Sedbergh schools and parents, not just about the new rules and protocols, but also about daily life in the school and how the pupils are doing. We've tried to work very hard at this, strengthening the many existing challenges of communication and adding new ones. I hope you feel that we've done this well. When I took on the role of chairman, I was given an important piece of advice by Hugh Blair, my predecessor. Don't speak for more than 10 minutes on speech day, he said. I'm very grateful to Hugh for this tip, and I'm also grateful for the other advice and support that he gave me and our fellow governors over the years. Hugh stewarded a period of growth and opportunity for Sedbergh, and he left the school in great shape. So a huge thank you to you, Hugh. At risk of using my full 10 minutes, there's one more thing I want to talk about. This isn't just the end of the school year, this is the end of an era. Andrew Fleck, our guest of honour today, is retiring after 11 years at the helm of the school, initially as head and latterly as principal. Andrew is a geographer, a sailor and a sportsman. Indeed, at his final board meeting last week, he was awarded his school colours for running. But most of all, he's an exceptional leader. His vision and ambition for our two schools has shaped the Sedbergh of the 21st century and has underpinned our continuing progress and success. In particular, Andrew led the merger with Casterton, the establishment of a new girls' house to accommodate their girls here, and the relocation of Sedbergh Prep School to Casterton. Working with Peter Marshall, he also oversaw Sedbergh's initial moves in the international market and the establishment of the first Sedbergh school overseas. And together they drove significant investment in new facilities in the school, including the Hurst Centre, the new Sixth Form Centre, the Carris Dining Room and Social Space, and the Nightingale. Throughout his time at Sedbergh, Andrew has worked tirelessly to encourage achievement by all our pupils, in the classroom and in exams and assessments, in music, the arts and drama, in sport, of course, and in the breadth of extracurricular opportunities available at Sedbergh. When Andrew first joined the school, there were 429 pupils in the senior school and just 103 in the prep school. Today, the combined pupil roll is just over 700, with more expected next year. So I want to pay tribute to all that Andrew has done for Sedbergh and the great legacy that he leaves here. Speaking personally, I also want to thank Andrew for the support and guidance he's provided to me in my first year as chairman. In the very troubled waters we faced, I couldn't have wished for a better skipper at the helm. So, Andrew, thanks for everything. I wish you and Anne every happiness in your retirement. You will all know, of course, that Dan Harrison will take over the leadership of the school next term. I'm delighted that the school has got such an experienced headmaster, and I think we're very fortunate to have managed such a seamless transition at a time of great challenge and uncertainty externally. I have one additional responsibility today. The school has a strong and hard-working board, and I want to thank them for all they do for Sedbergh. This year, the demands on their time has never been greater. And I want to pay particular tribute to Sir Roger Gifford, old Sedberghian, former Lord Mayor of London and a governor of this school, who sadly passed away in May. Andrew Fleck and I represented the school at Roger's funeral in the city on Thursday. We're going to miss his friendship and his wise counsel hugely. So it remains for me to reiterate my thanks to you all for everything you do to make Sedbergh this fine school that it is. Floreat Sedberghia.
Thank you, Richard. Chairman, Principal, COO, staff, guests, parents, Sedberghians and old Sedberghians. I would like to offer my welcome to you today to our speech day and prize giving, and also to all of you watching remotely on our final day of the year. It will be easy to spend my time here talking about COVID. I will not do that. I would much prefer to focus on what we have done as a school as opposed to what we haven't been allowed to do. However, before I do that, I'd like to thank all of you for your support, resilience, patience and good humour through this very testing period. I feel so very fortunate to be headmaster of a school containing such people, and I'm very grateful to you all. So this was a year where we, deep breath, came back in September in the red zone, 2 weeks at home in late November, back for 2 weeks before Christmas, didn't return post-Christmas, remote learning, back for 2.5 weeks before Easter, back to the summer term, into the green zone, and then this week, where we've seen further twists. Multiple plans have been written and torn up, and it's been frustrating for all of us, but we've all come through it. So I'll begin with a quick overview of the year and pick out a few highlights. Academically, the recent focus has been on assessments for years 11 and 13. This has gone smoothly, and well done to everyone in those year groups for all your efforts, and we look forward to August. All year groups threw themselves into virtual learning, and you can be very proud of everything you've achieved in these testing periods. Turning to music, the Michaelmas term, the Remembrance service was highly poignant. And a few weeks later, our chapel choir sang 2 magnificent Christmas carol services. In April, we were able to reform some of our main ensembles, and in addition to some very fine singing from our chapel choir on Sunday, we were finally able to enjoy a bit more music at the Wilson Run concert, which was a very special evening on Cloisters, and one which we will never forget. On the stage, we had a showcase evening of work by years 11, 12 and 13 at the end of May. It was well attended and fantastic to be back in the Arden watching live performance. This week, we staged the quite brilliant, moving, dark Settle Carlisle, which was a huge success. And next year, we have plans for 3 productions, starting with the 39 Steps, then a Year 12 play, and ending in the summer with a spectacular musical for years 9 and 10. Outdoor pursuits. In this year where spending time in the great outdoors has become so vital to the preservation of our physical and mental well-being, adventure activities have become a greater part of Sedbergh life for so many of our pupils. Supported by professional instructors, our common room have merrily led pupils up and down raging gills, through caves, over crags, across water, in canoes, kayaks, dinghies, and even stand-up paddleboards. They have honed their biking skills, attempted archery, and love swinging around in trees. Perhaps Darwin was wrong and we haven't evolved at all. Year 9 have been engaged in a programme of thrills and skills on a Thursday afternoon, learning natural history, the art of survival and bushcraft techniques as they work towards their John Muir Award. During Challenge Week earlier this week, I had the great pleasure of seeing about a dozen different activities and unfailingly saw pupils throwing themselves into conservation, voluntary, cultural and physical challenges in typical Sedberghian spirit. D.V. expeditions have been on hold for the last year, but silver and gold participants continue to work on their sections in lockdown, making the most of the new remote activities available. It is a testament to the determination and commitment to their award that since April 2020, we've been able to award 9 golds and 5 silvers. Voluntary service. The town's community orchard and Queen's Gardens benefited from the attentions of the Year 10 Sedgwick Ground Force. The Christmas give back was a real highlight, and a considerable sum of money was raised for the mental health charity Mind by the chaotic and very muddy fancy dress reindeer run, which you will all remember. Our Thursday conservation group have spent time in the recently dredged Bruce Lock. And whilst initially the area looked more like the Somme than Sedbergh, I urge you, when you are next in Sedbergh, to walk down, to count the ducks and herons, and possibly spot our kingfisher. The second area is the quite remarkable Brackensgill Fell, where we've been helping to restore this area to its former glory. The Saturday conservation team was born, weekly trips to scout the paths and clear the mosses from the dry stone walls. The woods feel lighter. The paths and other features are coming into focus. We've got many years ahead of us, but there's light, both literally and metaphorically, shining down on us. Sport. Rugby was played in the summer term, and our 14s, 15s and 16s played in competitive tournaments. The big side squad played a combined 10 fixtures and finished with a simply brilliant festival at Esher. Running. Pupils trained hard in the summer term, too often in surprisingly inclement weather for May and June. Runners showed typical Sedberghian spirit to take on new epic routes around Sedbergh, and marshals found new ways to pass the time and to keep warm. While the Wilson Run qualifiers took place away from the familiar course, but some runners still found familiar bogs. All of this led to the Wilson Run, which was a highlight of our running year. And in hot and humid conditions, Fraser Sproul prevailed in the boys' race, and Natasha Cookson was victorious in the girls' event. Winder won the boys' house competition, and Robertson taking the girls' team prize. Lots of cricket was played by our boys and girls this term, and we are still in the national tournament at under 17 level. Our 18s got to the last four in the country, so huge congratulations to them. Hockey, some hockey fixtures have taken place against various teams, and the senior girls finished at Cheadle-Hulme with a fantastic performance. Netball, our first team enjoyed a home and away fixture against a very strong Scottish Sirens under-21 side. The girls learned lots of lessons in the first fixture and put them into practice in the second. Shooting hasn't stopped at Sedbergh. 13 shooters from Sedbergh hoping to attend this year's Senior International Imperial meeting at Bisley over the summer. And meanwhile, the equestrian team have been competing regularly since lockdown and qualified for the National Schools one-day event in September at Two Heights. Lots of activity on Killington Lake with regular sailing sessions for our Year 10 outdoor pursuits and our Royal Naval Cadets. We've had 46 golfers who have registered at the Royal Sedbergh and had the use of this beautiful, quirky 9-hole course. I don't have enough time to talk about individual performances. I'll just pick out a few. Louis Johnson and Ollie Spencer were part of the England under-18 rugby squad. Robbie Burnett was picked for the Spain under-18 squad. Cricket, Tom Aspinall has regularly played for Lancashire second team. Dan Stevens has made the Scotland under-19 side. And on the girls' side, Brianna Ray and Harriet Robson were selected for the Northern Diamonds and Thunder Academies, respectively. Hockey, Beau Madden took part in a 9-month national age group selection process for England 18s. Netball, Emily Burnett and Holly Simpson represented Manchester Thunder under-19s and under-17s. Shooting, Daisy Armstrong was selected for the Great Britain under-19 team and Abby Gibbs as first reserve. Sarah Rorison and Emma Hunt were selected for the GB Athling squad. Kiera Butler, Tatiana Peters and Livy Ross were all selected for the UK Cadet Rifle squad. Equestrian, Laura Holly has qualified for the Royal International School at Hickstead. Well done to everybody. As always, at this time of year, we say goodbye to a small number of staff. And our very best wishes go to Andrew, who I'll mention in a moment, to Lottie Tullock, who becomes head at Denston, to John and Naomi Lydiard, who go to Sevenoaks, where John becomes deputy head, to Jordan Field, who goes to Switzerland, to Josh Dillow, who teaches at Wellington, or goes to teach at Wellington, Shanghai. We say goodbye to John and Emma Richardson as John becomes housemaster at Breedon School. Laurence Giselle retires, Annabelle McFetridge goes to the Oratory School, Emma McGee goes to teach at Downend School and pursue her netball career, and Ed Curtin-G left us mid-year to return to the Southwest. To all of our staff leavers, a huge thank you. Please come back and see us soon. I'll just briefly go off on a tangent. I often talk to parents about keeping children young for longer. And I want to tell you a true story about an 87-year-old lady named Rose who started a university degree. On her first day, she was asked what may have motivated her to be taking on a challenge at her age. She said, "I've always dreamed of having a college education, and now I'm getting one." After class, she walked to the Student Union building and shared a milkshake with other students. She made instant friends. Over the course of the year, Rose became a campus icon. She easily made friends wherever she went. She loved to dress up and revelled in the attention bestowed upon her from the other students. She was living it up. At the end of term, they invited Rose to speak at a sports dinner. She was introduced and stepped up to the podium. As she began to deliver her prepared speech, she dropped her cards on the floor. Frustrated and a little embarrassed, she leaned into the microphone and simply said, "I'm so sorry, I'm so jittery. I gave up beer for Lent and the whiskey is killing me. I'll never get my speech back in order, so just let me tell you what I know." The audience laughed and she cleared her throat and began. "We do not stop playing because we are old. We grow old because we stop playing. There are a small number of secrets to staying young, being happy, and achieving success. You've got to laugh and find humour every day. You've got to have a dream. There's a huge difference between growing old and growing up. Anyone can grow older. That doesn't take any talent or ability. The idea is to grow up by always finding opportunity in change. Have no regrets. The elderly usually don't have regrets for what we did, but rather for the things we did not do." At the end of the year, Rose finished the degree she'd begun all those years ago. 1 week after graduation, Rose died peacefully in her sleep. Over 2,000 college students attended her funeral in tribute to the wonderful woman who taught by example that it's never too late to be all you possibly can be. So 2 thoughts to finish with. Remember, growing older is mandatory, growing up is optional. And we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. A few thank yous to finish. To the heads of houses, the school prefects, the head of school and deputy heads of school. What a superb job you have done in leading us in this testing year. To my senior management team, the housemasters, the common room and all staff here at Sedbergh, especially the wonderful team of Amanda, Janet and Olivia in the office, a huge thank you. And we say goodbye today to our main guest, to Andrew Fleck, and wish him all the very best in his retirement. I would like to say a personal thank you to you, Andrew, and a thank you from the school. Andrew is a huge reason why the school is in such a strong position, with excellent pupil numbers predicted for September. His foresight, experience, challenge, and his ability to put the pupils first have stood us in remarkable stead going forwards. We will miss you. To Andrew and Anne, thank you so much. We hope to see lots more of you when you're not on a mad voyage on your boat. And a very heartfelt goodbye to our fantastic Upper Six. You have come through so much and come through it so well. We look forward to saying goodbye this afternoon. But to you and to your parents, You will always be part of Sedbergh School. Please come back and see us soon. Have a lovely summer. Floreat Sedberghian.
Chairman, Headmaster, Sedberghians. First of all, can I say thank you very much for your kind comments. I appreciate them deeply, but feel equally deeply embarrassed to listen to them. Sedbergh has been the pinnacle of my professional life. It's been the happiest period of a wonderful career. I feel very proud of this community, all that it has achieved, and very honoured to have been a part of it. To those of you who know me well, it will come as no surprise that I have a particular view of the last decade. Sedbergh is a large organisation. There are 700 pupils, 450 employees, about 1,000 parents at any one time, and 6,000 alumni. As I look back over the last 10 years, I think that the real achievement is that we have, every one of us, throughout that period of time, fulfilled our roles well. Teachers have taught well and have cared thoughtfully. We have been diligent about planning, finance, administration, operations, and much more behind the scenes. Our governors have discharged their duties with real wisdom and kindness. Pupils have worked hard,
practiced well. They have learned tolerance and solved problems. And our parents have been tremendously supportive, above all, trusting. And we know just how much you have sacrificed in your own lives in order for your children to be here. And our alumni, with all their experience of the school, are constant in their support of Sedbergh and its pupils. There is nothing so energizing as leading a large organisation that is working harmoniously and towards an important purpose. I think the best analogy I can bring you is that it is like surfing the largest wave or riding a powerful horse. But the difference to those two examples is that it goes on day after day after day. So my perspective on the achievements described by the headmaster and chairman are that they are a celebration of every member of this community throughout that period of time. And every one of you here in Pole Hall or elsewhere in Britain and around the world should take pride in our achievements. Congratulations on all that you have achieved collectively and individually. You are truly remarkable people, immensely talented, and you are great company. But enough of the backslapping. My own parents never once attended speech days or prize giving, and they refused to inform themselves about my grades throughout my education. They had no interest in my A-levels. They were only interested in the effort that I invested in my work, my sport, my activities, every aspect of my time at school. But they were even more interested to know what I understood the purpose of my own education to be. I make no bones about the fact that their values have shaped my professional life. So let me pose a question this morning. Do your many achievements make Sedbergh a great school? And to try to answer the question, we must define the purpose of all that we do here. The purpose of a Sedbergh education. Is it to win more fixtures, play more concerts, gain better exam grades, and out-compete other schools? Perhaps it's a measure of the school's age, wealth, and assets. Or perhaps the proper measure is the number of pupils in the school and their parents' satisfaction and enjoyment of Sedbergh. Maybe it's determined by the professional success and important offices held by alumni. I put it to you that these may determine a good school, but never a great school. You are educated to change the world, just has been the case for generations of Sedberghians before you and those who will follow. Your role in life is to make society a safer, fairer, more equal place, and to use your talents to help others less fortunate than you. And let us make no mistake about it, it is a giant and endless undertaking. It demands vision, bravery, and influence. And these are the very qualities that you develop on our pitches, on the fells, in the houses, every day in all that you do. Some of you will have far-reaching influence and follow in the footsteps of old Sedberghians who embraced that responsibility. Lord Bingham of Cornhill, the most important law lord of the 20th century, whose portrait is on the right there. Robert Swan, early environmental campaigner. Roger Gifford, who the chairman mentioned just now, a governor and friend and a real pioneer of green finance, which will do so much to help our environmental challenges. And Stephen O'Brien, the United Nations Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, whose intervention saved millions of lives in Africa. The list of old Sedberghians who have used their talents and energy to change the world is long, and they all started where you sit now in Pole Hall. No less important are those in business, the professions, or working within communities, where they extend the principles and visions that they learned at Sedbergh. You have learned about friendship, loyalty, and trust, and must maintain those values in your own relationships, no matter how hard. So soon you will celebrate the end of the school year, and for many of you here, the departure from schooling. I hope you will thank your housemistresses and housemasters, teachers and coaches who have invested many hours in your growth. I hope you will reflect on the good times, as I will, and have happy memories and close friendships. But that's not the end, and as time goes on, I hope you will also reflect on the greater moral purpose of a Sedbergh education and draw on it as you face decisions at university, in your working lives, and in your communities. And if all of this seems a bit abstract, let me offer you now 3 immediate choices that are only just over your horizons. If the environment matters, will you forego a fashionable car in favour of a lesser model? Or will you relinquish a car altogether and build your life around public transport? Or will your eco-credentials be limited to an overpriced organic cotton t-shirt? If you're at all concerned about social inequality, what percentage of your income should you give away to help address the issue? Or will you just be another passenger crying foul on the latest social media bandwagon? And how much of your leisure time in the future will you dedicate to others less fortunate than you? Or is a Just Giving page the extent of your ambition? Please understand that you leave Sedbergh with our very, very best wishes, our absolute commitment of support throughout your lives, and that of the Old Sedberghian Club and the thousands of alumni it represents. And you will take with you, I'm sure, the support and friendship of your peers. But understand also that you leave Sedbergh with our high expectations that you fulfill the moral purpose for which you have been educated. In the same way that my parents had no interest in the baubles their children gathered, neither will we be impressed by titles and wealth unless they are used to improve the others less fortunate than we. So I ask the question again, is Sedbergh a great school? And here is my answer. I don't know, because the answer doesn't lie in what you have done at school, it lies in your futures, in every single one of you. So good luck. Warmest congratulations on all that you have achieved, the prizes that you have won, and congratulations on all that you will do in the future. Thank you for your kindness today and your support throughout 11 wonderful years. Thank you very much.
We invite the following prize winners to the stage to receive their prizes from Principal and Guest of Honour today, Andrew Fleck. The Year 9 Prize for Art, Matilda Hines, and the Year 10 Prize for Art, Tatiana Peters. The Year 9 Prize for English, Rose Seymour, and the Year 10 Prize for English, Jemima Appiah Metcalf. The Year 9 Prize for Humanities, Olivia Gawthorpe, and the Year 10 Prize for Humanities, Oliver Fiddler. The Year 9 Prize for Languages is awarded to Emma Duckham, who cannot be here with us this morning. The Year 10 Prize for Languages and the Year 10 Prize for Mathematics is awarded to Talita Sutcliffe, and the Year 9 Prize for Mathematics, again, who cannot be here with us this morning, to Kenny Wu. The Year 9 Prize for Science is awarded to Emma Starling, and the Year 10 Prize for Science and the Year 10 Craig General Knowledge Prize to Sam Laney. The Year 9 General Studies Projects Prize is awarded to Phoenix Ogilvie Robertson. First awarded in 1999 and donated by a former chaplain and teacher of divinity, the Laird Cup is awarded to an individual member of Year 9 for their all-round performance in their first year at the senior school. This year, the recipient arrived from Sedbergh Prep as a former head girl. Since arriving at the senior school, she has secured one of the highest average effort grades, sung in the chapel choir, performed in the latest school play, played in the junior girls cricket team and represented the school at athletics. She is consistently showing herself to be one of true Sedberghian spirit. The Laird Cup for all-round performance in Year 9 is this year awarded to Pippa Radford. Our Year 11 prizes this year are awarded virtually. They will not be with us in school today. However, we will read out their names and offer our congratulations at the end. The Year 11 Murray Craigmile Prize for Art is awarded to Jolly Holt. The Year 11 Brian Harrison Prize for Biology to Kira Butler. The Year 11 Prize for CCF to Tor Ainsley. The Middle School Prize for Classics and the Middle School Wakefield Prize for French to Isabella Dowling. The Year 11 Prize for Chemistry and the Weech Prize for History, Rosie Wilson. The Year 11 Prize for School Drama to Rowan Piper. The Year 11 Prize for PE to Ben Redshaw. The Year 11 Prize for Geography to Finn Baker. The Year 11 Prizes for Mathematics and for Physics to Joseph Nolan. The Middle School Wakefield Prize for Spanish to Carmen Alvarez de Toledo. The Year 11 Rankin Prize for English to Katie Wood. The Middle School Prize for Religious Studies to Toby Welsh. the Middle School Prize for Design to Ben Starling, and the Middle School Prize for Music to Archie Glover. Our senior prizes awarded this morning. The Alexander English Travel Award to Imogen Hunt and Gabrielle Morris, and the Bruce Lockhart Prize for Art to Amelia Hahn. The Senior Prize for Agriculture, although he can't be with us this morning, is awarded to Noah Harling. The Senior Prize for Business Studies to George Spark, and the Senior Prize for BTEC Business Studies, William Mullins. The Sixth Form CCF Prize to Jessica Nibbs, and the Senior Prize for Classics and the Granville Morris String Prize to Zara Graham. The Heppenstall English Essay Prize is awarded to John T. Stewart, and the Sterling Memorial Prize for English, alongside the Senior Prize for PE, to India Hayden Wood. The Senior Prize for BTEC Sport awarded to Natasha Cookson, and the Wakefield Prize for French and the Richard Wilde Prize for History awarded to Alex Albert Munoz, neither of whom can be with us this morning. The Senior Prize for Design is awarded to Oliver Pyle, and the Senior Prize for School Drama to Oscar Stewart. The Senior Prize for Theatre Studies and the Senior Prize for Psychology are both awarded to Robin Sutcliffe, and the Senior Prize for Economics to Tom Ogden. The Senior Prize for Geography is awarded to Eleanor Anderson, the Senior Prize for Geology, in her absence, to Emily Burnett, and the Wakefield Prize for Spanish to Ben Reed. The Senior Prize for Music is shared by Ella Seymour and Amelia Horan. Additionally, the Renfrey Martin Prize for Singing is also awarded to Amelia Horan. the Sedbergh Mathematics Prize and the Senior Girls Prize for contribution to sport to Brianna Ray. The Peter Langwell Wind Prize is awarded to William Jameson, and the Evans Prize for Religious Studies to Olivia Chatterley. The LP Madge Prize for Biology to Scout Turner Richards, and the F.R. Danson Prize for Chemistry to Max Jackson. The Senior Prize for Further Mathematics and the L.R. Taylor Prize for Physics are awarded to George Welsh. The Alan Lewis Prize for Brass to Samuel Sankar, and the Reed Award for Outdoor Pursuits to Louis Gunning. The Senior Boys Prize for contribution to sport is awarded to Leo Johnson, and the Hurst Award for exceptional sporting achievement to Louis Johnson. The Headmasters' Awards for services to the school, awarded to Sunny Ballaghan, Molly Barrett, Mo Bashir, Charlie Churchhouse, Josh Clark, Oliver Kay, Tatenda Tigeri, and in his absence, Angus Woods. In honour of a young old Sedberghian who tragically lost his life in 2011, the David Tate Cup is awarded to a pupil who has joined the sixth form and has demonstrated the most Sedberghian of values in their 2 years at the school. The recipient this year joined us from Wardle Academy in Rochdale, having obtained outstanding GCSE results. In his time at Sedbergh, he has played First 15 Rugby, represented the Sale Sharks Academy, and now plays Rugby Sevens for Samurai. He also serves as a house prefect with huge personal responsibility and pride for the junior boys. His quiet and humble leadership has been outstanding, even though much of his 2 years has been with us remotely, and yet he has continued to show the most Sedberghian of spirits. Not many people know of his most extraordinary personal journey, supported by his wonderful foster parents, who brought him into their family in 2011, providing him with opportunities to be where he is today, including his 2 years at Sedbergh. And through his own resilience and ambition, he's made the very most of everything. He has embraced Sedbergh wholeheartedly and leaves school to study at Newcastle University, safe in the knowledge that he will be always part of this wider family. The David Tate Memorial Cup is this year presented to a most worthy of winners, Travis Gideon. The John Angus Laban Cup is named in honour of an old Sedberghian who left school in 1938. His headmaster at the time, Bruce Lockhart, described him as pure gold. The prize is now awarded at the headmaster's discretion to a pupil or pupils who are true Sedberghians, upholding all the very best of our values, ethos and behaviours. This year, the trophy is shared by two outstanding individuals. The first recipient has been at Sedbergh School for 16 of his 18 years, having joined our nursery at Bentham, then moved on to Casterton, Sedbergh Prep, and then to the senior school. He has made the very most of his time at school, excelling in sailing, and is the 3-time CCF national champion. His practical skills make him not just an excellent student of DT, but also pivotal in the physical creation of the school chute and smallholding. In his spare time, he recreated a fire pit and patio area in Evans House, his home for well over a decade of his life. He's completed the Wilson Run, obtained his gold Duke of Edinburgh, is a dinghy instructor and a chief beater at the school chute. However, it is in his humility, his can-do attitude and genuine kindness which stands him out as a truly wonderful Sedberghian. In his own quiet way, he is a fine young man who consistently puts others before himself. The second recipient joined Sedbergh Prep in Year 7 from King's School, Canterbury. In her time, she's represented the school at all major sports, home and abroad, has been appointed a school prefect and received academic colours. She is an outstanding musician who sings in the chapel choir and chamber choir. Like the first recipient, she consistently puts others before herself and was an inaugural member of a community service project working with local veterans. This is someone who stands out as having genuine compassion and empathy and a sense of moral purpose. As the first pupil to preach in chapel, her personal journey through her formative teenage years was a true inspiration and a wonderful way to summarise her Sedberghian career and her values of putting others before herself. The joint winners this year of the John Angus Laban Cup are Louis Gunning and Olivia Chatterley. First presented to the school in 2004 by Andrew Count Macmillan, Baron of Cleghorn. This cup is awarded to the house, which has contributed most during the year to the cultural life of the school. Through participation and excellence in the arts, in person and remotely, most notably in drama and choir contributions, as well as strong recommendations of the many in-house and impromptu performances, the Andrew Macmillan Trophy is this year awarded to Carus House. The Hilary Scott Rose Bowl is awarded to the house which has gained the best measurable and quantifiable effort grades throughout the academic year. Named after Sir Charles Hilary Scott, father of Mrs. Jennifer Thornley and father-in-law of former headmaster Michael Thornley, Hilary Scott was a regular prize winner during his time at school. This trophy this year is awarded to the house who's demonstrated the highest levels of academic effort and endeavour, and this year is awarded to Lupton House.